One of the starter commanders and one of the best epic commanders in the game. You guessed it, this video is all about Gwanwyn. So stick around as we dive in and learn everything there is to know about her. What's up guys, MEOWER here back with a brand new video. In continuation of the Commander series Revamped, we'll be discussing Gwanwyn. Gwanwyn is one of the best epic commanders in the game, but before we continue, please don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends. It really helps out the channel. It really helps me out as well. But without further ado, let's get into it. Gwanwyn is one of the best epic commanders in the game, and for good reason. She's one of the starter commanders for the Spring Warden faction, making her extremely easy to obtain. Her skill set is really good and works really well with other archer commanders, and she can carry your early game and even mid game, and sometimes she can even be used in the late game if you have her awakened. In terms of PvP and PvE, since archers are the best unit when it comes to PvE, especially hunting behemoths or rallying passes and such, and Gwanwyn fits those roles really well. Now, Gwanwyn has the marksman, the peacekeeping, and the precision trees, but the peacekeeping will ignore that exists since it's absolutely useless and will not fit in any purposes that we have. However, I will give you a build at the end of the talent tree builds or third build where you use her just to power level your other commanders and make use of the extra bonuses provided from the peacekeeping tree. And even then, it's just not worth going the route of the peacekeeping tree. As always, we'll be discussing the skills, her talents, her builds, and you have to keep in mind that a single epic commander costs 440 sculptures to awaken to unlock every single skill they have, and a commander needs 7.852 million XP in order to reach level 60. With that being said, let's discuss her skills. Gwanwyn's skills are pretty straightforward. Her first skill is separated into three sections where they deal damage, and then finally higher damage. Her second skill is all about peacekeeping, but this only works on darklings and dark creatures. It does not impact forts, and it does not impact behemoths. Her third skill just buffs up archers' physical attack damage and their march speed, pretty straightforward. And finally, when she has above 50% unit count, or has exactly 50% unit count, her units deal 10% extra damage, so that encourages you to learn the habit to refresh your march as soon as it hits 50% or lower, since you will lose a really high part of your effectiveness. And finally, her awaken skill is an additional passive skill where it makes it so every attack or every other attack has a 50% chance to poison the target, dealing 0 skill damage, 100 for 3 seconds. So that's 100, 100, 100 every 3 seconds, assuming you hit it. So if you're lucky, you can keep this up permanently, which is why it makes her a really constant source of DPS and skill damage. Moving on to her build. This is the standard build I usually use when it comes to the precision tree. I have been experimenting here, but I do believe this is the best build for her for now on the precision tree. Let's just review it. We're going to go the standard attack, defense, HP, and then arrow of precision. We're going to go for overall attack, extra attack damage, extra counter attack damage, since archers really love counter attack damage. Then we're going to get onslaught, which is pretty nice. You can also go whirlwind. However, I do like onslaught a lot because it increases the normal attack damage by archers, which is already extremely high. But it will be a toss-up between whirlwind and invincible, so it will be more based on your preference. Next up, we're going to go for irrepressible, just to mitigate 2% of the enemy's defense. You can either go for the rage generation build here, where it increases your rage when you cast the rage skill, increases your normal attack damage by up to 10%. However, I do prefer the crit build since it just does more damage overall, and archers are all about dealing regular damage. You can also go fragilely suppression. Inflict that increases the normal attack damage taken by 2% every 4 or 5 seconds, up to 10%, and then you go for the heal. But the reason why you don't go this because this heal is extremely useless compared to the other two. So you're left with the choice of wanting to go extra rage cycles, or you can go for the crit build and gamble hitting nice crits. And then finally, you have the Mark of War, which is really good, and so is the Mighty Slash. However, I do prefer the Mark of War because it helps out in extended fights, which you should be trying to commit to as archers since you want to dish out as much damage as possible due to their short range. So you want to dish out as much damage as possible and lasting in battle as long as possible. We'll use the marksman tree as a secondary. We'll go for the marksman attack, and then we'll go for fully loaded just to increase even more damage while launching range attacks. And then finally, we're going to go for the hero skill damage. You can also go for steady shot, but I do not like it because marksmen already have short enough range. Decreasing that further for up to 15% attack is not worth it because you lose out on 15 range, which could be pretty game changing, especially considering archers already, as said before, have short enough range. Now you're left with shower of blows. When casting rage skills, there's a chance you'll get 8% more damage, or you can go for bullseye. I do prefer bullseye though, just for the raw extra stats, and you can keep cycling the extra stats you keep gaining. That would be it for the first talent tree. The second talent tree would focus will be on the marksman tree. We're gonna go for attack. We're gonna go for defense, and then we're gonna go for HP. We're gonna go for our position, the standard build here on the marksman tree. We're gonna go for extra ranged attacks. We're gonna go for intimidation, bullseye, and then we're left with two options: either dealing extra damage to magic units, or you're gonna go for the HP route to get the rage accumulation speed, or you can go for this one and then spec all the way into increase of unit by when you're below 50% just to counteract that. However, that's not worth it. So you're left with reducing the enemy's march speed when they are attacked, which is good. So you're left with two options: either the HP into the rage accumulation, or you're gonna go for the increase in damage to magic units, which is my preferred one as well. And when you're attacked, you slow the enemy so you can target them down. And then you're left with either extra counterattack damage, or you're gonna go for harvest, but I do prefer the extra attack damage since you're not guaranteed to proc harvest every single time. And finally, you have pursuit. They inflict fragility, which lowers their damage, their normal attack damage, or rather increases the attack damage you deal to them by 10%, or burst shot, increasing the normal hero skill damage. I do prefer fragility, where you increase the damage taken from all sources on them. I will go for pursue here, and then finally on the precision tree, we're gonna go for standard attack, standard even more attack, and then finally counter attack here, and finish it off with either whirlwind or invincible, depending on your preference. Finally, the last build, if you're gonna use your Gwanwyn as a peacekeeping only commander and not as a primary, you're gonna go for here. You're gonna go for here, and then we're gonna build all the way into peacekeeping. We're gonna deal even more damage onto onto dark clings and dark creatures. We're gonna deal hero skill damage more, and then you're left with either gaining a shield or dealing more damage. We're gonna go for damage. We're gonna go for normal attack, either a rage source or dealing defense break. Let's go for the defense break, and then dealing even more damage here. And finally, we're gonna finish off with getting an extra item reward. And then we're gonna go all the way into the marksman tree just to get bullseye, because you're gonna consistently proc bullseye to the max stacks every single time you fight any dark creatures. And yeah, that will be it for the Gwanwyn builds. Now, where do you place Gwanwyn? Gwanwyn is usually the secondary to Nico, because Nico's skill provides a defense break, so you want to make use of the defense break to when Gwanwyn hits her skills to maximize her damage potential. So usually Gwanwyn is a secondary commander. However, if you want to run a secondary archer march and you have a Nico Kinara running around, you can run Gwanwyn Craig. Since Craig does not really have viable trees, so he would usually be the secondary if you want to run a secondary march. You can also run Gwanwyn Kinara or Kinara Gwanwyn. Same for Nico Gwanwyn. I don't recommend setting Gwanwyn as the lead to Nico. And finally, Gwanwyn Craig. I don't recommend setting Gwanwyn in the secondary to Craig. And there is a certain rally march that was tested before. However, it kind of fell into obscurity. If you want to revive that march and try it, it's a rally led by Hosk, having Gwanwyn secondary just to make use of her poison. When in a large rally of 2 million troops extra, your damage is going to be off the charts, especially your skill factor damages is going to be off the charts. As for where you can obtain Gwanwyn, like I said before, she is the starter hero for the Spring Wardens faction. So if you start with the Spring Warden, you're going to get her first, and then you can get her from the main storyline skills, the main storyline quests, and you can get her from the Dragon Trail shop as she appears there. Sometimes her shards appear there, sometimes she appears in the place of Bakara right here, and then you can just get her standardly from the daily quests. You can get her from gold keys, and if you are gold keys or silver keys, you can get some of her shards. And if you are below VIP 8, VIP 9, or 8, yeah, you can get 2 sculptures of her right here in order just to get her rolling. And then finally, you can buy her tokens from the VIP store, 180 per 180, so that's 3,200 gems for 20 of her tokens. And yeah, overall, Gwanwyn is an extremely solid commander, which I definitely recommend investing into. Always have her on standby. She is extremely useful as time progresses. She does not fall off as you expect, considering she is an epic commander. And yeah, that is everything that you need to know about Gwanwyn in terms of her builds, pairings, and where to use her. She's perfect for PvP, she's perfect for PvE. She's just a really solid all-rounder commander. Invest in her, especially if you're free to play, or even if you're pay to win, have her on the side. It will not hurt to have her awakened and just sitting there idly in case your main commanders run out of stamina. That's it for this video. I hope you learned a thing or two. If you did, drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Share the video with your friends. And please join our Discord. Come interact with us and ask me any question there if you'd like, or ask me down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Meow meow.